I ain't never seen in my days like a player base and gamers in general be so like fucking cooked. I never would have imagined like shit would be like this on, like. All right, so let me get my thoughts straight, right? Because Marvel Rivals has like a plethora of problems, right? Like, it's like I know people that be talking about the devs because they be on BS, which is true, because they had season 9, they debuted the team overhaul and all that other stuff. Cool. Yeah, I mean, they did some nerfs and readjustments and everything was fine, was cool and chill, right? But then it's like I also know that, when the season started, a lot of people were just like, oh, the sustain really ain't that good. It ain't, right? So then what do they decide to do? They decide to revert the strategist ult changes that they implemented. Which was really stupid, by the way, because now it's back to Strat Alt Bonanza 4, if that's what you want to call it. But aside from like the game balancing and all that other stuff, because the balancing is never going to be perfect in the game, and people are just, even if it's like pretty close to being like balanced, it's like people are going to find shit to nitpick and dismantle anyway. But my main concern and my main problem is the fucking player base, right? Because there are a plethora of people that are out there who grief games, AFK, throw, and all this other stuff, and a lot of people would be like, well, why do people do these type of things and all this other stuff, right? And it doesn't just happen in Marvel Rivals, it also happens in other team-based games where people they're like, fuck it, and throw all caution to the wind and will just like fucking throw games and shit like that. And they'll do it under the guise of like rage baiting and all this other stuff, right? And if people have like watched my streams and even like, hear the way that I talk on like Twitter and shit like that, they know like I feel like rage baiting culture is like the dumbest shit ever. Like, trolling I get to an extent, but it's like it'd be the rage bait stuff where people will say stupid things and then they'll just be like, oh, but I'm just rage baiting to get a reaction, but they'll sound stupid though. Like, and people will actually double down on it, and it's not like, no, that's what you actually think. But then because the reaction was so bad, then now all of a sudden it's rage bait now. Like, no, because some people actually have those opinions, which is ridiculous and out of pocket. So I want to talk about this, right? It's all on Twitter, because this shit actually cooked my brain. So I'll give y'all a moment to read it, but I'm also read it as well, right? I'll give my perspective as someone, as soon as they hit GM, just throws all the way to bronze literally every season. I do the classic switching between roles to make the team useless, since I like playing the game still, lol. That sounds like a contradiction to me, because if you enjoy playing the game, why not just play the shit normally? Instead, you're actively throwing the game to make the game insufferable for other people. Like, you're making it to the point where it's like people can't even do anything with you or without you, because you're constantly switching. So it's like no one can figure anything the fuck out, which is ridiculous. Now, granted, it's like you could be like, oh, but those other 5 people could go ahead and do things on their own to make it so. But it's like, yeah, but you have someone feeding fucking ult charge to the enemy team. Be better if this goofy ass went to AFK. But anywho, let's continue. It's because this game is entirely targeted towards young dudes who, frankly, we as a demographic have never felt more powerless than today. So out of the gate, this person is like, I enjoy playing the game, but I just throw because I'm the target demographic and I feel powerless. So just got people out here just playing victim, right? Playing victim because they feel powerless. Now, granted, I'm not gonna go into whatever the fuck that spiel is, because I could get into it, but that would be like a different video for some other reason. But let us continue. Throwing a game is one of the few things in my life that makes me feel like I still have agency over my surroundings in any meaningful way, and frankly, so does smurfing. That's why I like ending each season in bronze and like the climb to GM, but once I'm up there, my agency is lost unless I throw. So in other words, this motherfucker feels like they have no type of sway in their surroundings or anything like that unless they fucking throw, because they're a piece of shit and they don't know how to do anything else. Instead of, I don't know, maybe maintain your standing in GM, maybe try to reach eternity, I don't know, but then they probably feel like anything that I do within GM or whatever is just pointless, and it's just I have no type of agency, because it's just, so instead you throw games because you feel like that gives you power and it gives you some type of control. No, it makes you look like a fucking nutcase and a piece of shit that clearly no one wanted to pick for dodgeball in elementary school. This is the type of person that always got picked last for any type of group activity in elementary school. This motherfucker didn't get picked for dodgeball, he didn't get picked for baseball, basketball, pickup games, anything like that. No, this motherfucker was always picked last. Because for someone to go to this extent, right? And anyone could be like, oh, but it's just a game. No, this is people's hobbies. This is something that they do to decompress from work and everything like that. And you might be like, oh, if you're playing Marvel Rivals to decompress from work, to be fair, that's a different conversation. Some people actually do enjoy playing the game, win, lose, or draw, if the game quality is decent enough. If the match quality is decent enough, me personally, I really don't care if I win or lose, as long as it's not a fucking roll. Because if you get rolled, that leaves a very terrible taste in people's mouths. And these are the type of people that make the games into a fucking roll, which then makes other people pissed the fuck off. Because why? They do nut shit like this. That's when people get frustrated and pissed off, and then they want people like this to be banned off the game, or at least timed the fuck out, or don't be able to queue and rank after they do this nutty type of behavior, because it makes it insufferable for everyone else involved. Because why? They feel like they have no type of agency over themselves or their surroundings, which, newsflash by the way, if this is how you act with any type of governance or power, yeah, you shouldn't have any. Go take your goofy ass on some fucking where and play a single player game. Oh, but I still enjoy playing the game. Okay, well, others don't enjoy playing with you because you're doing this nutty shit. Like, and this is an issue where it's just like one person puts their precedence and everything else above the majority, and this is when shit becomes fucking insufferable. Like, honestly, to me, this is just piece of shit character. Honestly. And it's like they could probably feel any type of way that they want. You know what I mean? And they could be like, oh, well, people could say whatever they want, but this is my perspective. And I've told this plenty of times before. I even talked about this last night when I was streaming Beast of Reincarnation. If you can't see past your own perspective and see how other people could feel from the actions that you're doing, and you can't understand how they're gonna perceive you if you go ahead and do such action, you're a fucking monster. Like, and I went on record and said that this is brain rot behavior. This is actually one of the, like, this is a retarded take right here. Like, and I don't say that word lightly at all. I only really use it in situations where I actually feel like it's suitable. And this is it. Because I wouldn't say anyone with a learning disability is that word. The only way I would say something is retarded to me is when someone actually has a functioning brain and they're able to, you know what I mean? Or at least they should be able to think and perceive and be able to, you know what I mean? But this person, they don't care. They don't care. And that's part of the problem. To you, it may sound sad, but truly, if you don't get why anyone would do this, then believe me, it's sadder than it already sounds. No, that's gaslighting 101. No. Because it does sound sad, and it sounds pathetic as shit. Because if you don't get why anyone would do this, then believe me, it's sadder than it already sounds. No, like, anything over on this side ain't sad at all. Like, doing this type of behavior and then trying to be like, oh, to you it may sound sad, but truly if you don't get it, then it's sadder than it already sounds. Like, no. Just the fact that you're trying to justify it is sad and pathetic, and it's just the lowest of the low. There are plenty of other ways to gain any type of governance or anything like that against your surroundings. Take accountability for your actions instead of just trying to be like, oh, well, I do this just because of X, Y, and Z. No. Get some character development. Because, like, it's not only this person. And a lot of people might be like, oh, but that's just one person out of many. No, there are other people that feel this way and they will do the exact same thing, whether it be for this reason or it be for any other reason, and they'll sit there and justify it. Like, and it's crazy work, and I don't understand it. Well, I won't say I don't understand it, right? Because I can to a degree. But at the same time, it's not my job or anyone else's job to make you feel like, oh, it's okay to feel this way. Because it's not. Because I advocate for a lot of things. Like, my whole thing is like, people can go ahead and live their lives however they want. And, like, you know what I mean? I really don't care as long as it doesn't impede on other people's happiness and all these other things. As long as it doesn't impede on other people and it doesn't cause a disturbance to them, go ahead and do whatever you want. But this, no, you're a monster. You are a monster. Because there are plenty of other things that you could be doing besides that, and then you just make the gaming experience for other people, which makes them quit the game and never pick it up again. And it taints the whole entire ecosystem. But this would be the same type of person that would expect sympathy and empathy. No. You won't be getting that at all. Because this is just one example of the foolishness that goes on in Marvel Rivals. And it's not even just Rivals, it's every single team-based game. Because you'll have pathetic sacks of shit like this. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, I don't understand how people could feel that way. I can understand the feeling of being powerless, not only being powerless towards yourself, but also being powerless towards your surroundings. But activities like this doesn't give you any type of power, governance, or anything like that. It doesn't. It just makes other people look at you like you're fucking crazy and you're selfish and you're a piece of shit, and no one will want to interact with you at all. That's what that does. You know what I mean? And it's not even to be on some type of this, like, no, like, this type of situation, it's very real. It's very real. And people need to have some type of character development. They need to have some type of accountability, self-reflection, and all that. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, it's going to be easy. Like, no. It's very difficult. Like, you need to do some soul searching. If this is the type of position that you're in, and this is the type of, like, thought processes that you have. Because this is nasty work. You know what I mean? But I just wanted to make something about like this today, because I was just like, it tilted me. It honestly tilted me. And it's not even on some like, oh my gosh, it's just like, no, because it's an actual real thing that people go through in life. And it's like, I understand and I sympathize to the feeling of powerlessness that people feel within their own lives and their own surroundings. But the actions that you take is an entirely different thing, and I hold no sympathy or empathy for people who do this type of shit at all. The feelings, I can. The actions, no. The actions, I'm gonna tell you, go fuck yourself. Because like they said, anyone could have pure intentions, and they could have the best intentions ever. But if the actions don't reflect it, them intentions don't mean nothing. You know? So let this be a lesson to where it's like, you can have feelings, right? But it's what you do with your actions which will then be perceived by the outside world on whatever you do. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it's not... Because my whole thing is, I'm not really worried about being a good person, and I'm not really concerned about being a bad person. I'm concerned about being human. Okay? Because I know I have good traits, and I know I also have bad traits. It's yin and yang. There's a balance there. You know? And sometimes I may act on the bad traits more than most. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I would... No. You know what I mean? Because I'm human. I do some bad shit, but I also do some good shit. I do more good than bad, but there are some bad things that I do as well. I'm not going to hold you. Okay, and if anybody says they don't do bad, they're lying to themselves and they're lying to you. Just how some people that just be like, oh, I've never had a bad day in my life. You're lying. Because everyone's had bad days. Because if you don't have bad days, then how do you learn to really appreciate the good days? You know what I mean? So there's some type of balance there. Not saying that some people would just be like, oh, they just, it's performative. You know what I mean? And that's the stuff that I just hate the most. I hate performative things. I hate performative people. You know what I mean? And this is not performative. I don't feel like this is performative at all. I feel like people actually feel this way, and then they go about doing things, and then they try to justify it. And I'm like, no, it's wrong. It's terrible. But I just wanted to bring this to light, because this is another study of like, people need to have some character development, self-reflect, you know what I mean, and all this other stuff. You know what I mean? because I've done some self-reflection myself as well. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, would I like to be an influencer and do more videos and stuff like that? Yeah. But at the same time, I'm more concerned about putting out things that would like influence people to be bad. Where it's just like I have the intention to put things out to help people be better than they were yesterday, maybe an hour or two ago, you know, a couple of minutes ago, be better than what you were, right? But people are going to make choices and decisions on what they want to do. I have no control over that. Can I influence it? Sure. But, you know, at least I ain't telling people to go out here, rob, kills, you know what I mean, and all this other stuff. I would never do that and influence that. No way, no how. But you do have some people that would do that. I don't know why. But at the end of the day, think before you act. I'm not going to sit there and be like your feelings are invalid, but however, if you think that your feelings are going to have you do actions like this will be one of them cases where I say fuck your feelings. Feelings can be valid, but how you choose to act on said feelings and thoughts, you could either be put on the stake, or you could be the person to make a change. Anyways, this has been Rhapsody Starfire. That's been my PSA for the day. Make sure y'all stay safe, stay golden, shine bright my stars. Do be sure to take care of yourselves physically, mentally, emotionally, and of course, spiritually. And don't end up like this motherfucker over here. And until next time, deuces.